This video is going to show you how to make a Google form. So an example of a Google form, just so you can check it out, is this one right here that I used last year. A coworker made this and shared it with me. As you see, you can have free response. You can ask for the kid's name. You can have a preset multiple choice response. This was a really great way to check in on the students to make sure that they had devices. It was also a great way to check that they had internet and to check in, how are they feeling this week? Please share whatever you're comfortable with sharing. It's a great tool for social, emotional check-ins. Some other questions: do you have any challenges that factor into your ability to keep up with the work in your classes? Do you have any emotional concerns? I can forward these to your counselor. Is there anything else I can do to better support you during this period of remote learning? The responses I got to this were actually pretty significant, and it was really helpful in making the students feel connected. But this could also be used to take attendance. It could be used to poll the students. It could be used for any number of things. So let's jump into how this works. So first, you're going to go into Google Drive. You're going to click New, and you've got Google Docs, Sheets, Slides. If you click More, there's Google Forms. You can also access this by coming up here, clicking on your dots, your grid, scrolling down until you see Forms. So we're going to make a new form. I'm going to do a blank one. There are some other ones, template gallery, that might pop up that you could choose from, and I'm just going to pick blank. So first things first, let's title the form. I'm just going to call this check-in. If you click up here where it was untitled before, it will typically grab this, although you can call this something else if you want. It doesn't have to be the same title. You can add a description. Please take this survey and let me know how you are doing. So you can see right here it populates the first question. So you can make this whatever you want. Now, you can make it a multiple choice, in which case you're going to enter in your multiple choice options. But you also can do short answer. So that would be like, what's your first name, last name, paragraph, check boxes, drop down. What's really cool that I like to do is this date one. And the reason I think the date one is helpful is that I have on my website a form for kids to sign up for office hours. And so one of the things that I add onto it is, give me the date when you're available. And so they can click on the calendar, pick the day that they want to come in for office hours, and then they basically sign up that way. You can make the question required or not required. So something like your name, first comma last. I'm going to want to make that required because I want to make sure that they enter that in. We're going to make it short answer. Now I want to add more questions. How do I do that? Push the plus sign. Populates a new one. Maybe this one is, when do you want to come in? And for this one, I'm going to do the date. So the kids will get to click on a calendar and pick a date. I want to make that one required. You might have a question like, do you have any further questions? I don't really want to make that required because they might not have any further questions, so I can leave that unchecked, and then some kids will answer this and some won't. You can duplicate, so maybe you're asking a series of questions that are fairly similar. Maybe they're yes/no questions, so you can just duplicate, and it populates the exact same question that you had before. You can also do other things, like you can add a video, you can add an image, you can add a title or a description. So these are your other options outside of just clicking the plus sign to add a new section. So when you're done, all your changes are already saved in Google Drive. It'll be saved under this file name. So then you can view what it's going to look like to the kids. So here's what mine looks like. And then I can go back, and then if I click send, I want to grab the link for my website. So you can email this to people, but let's say you just want to embed it on your website. You can use this to embed it in HTML, or you can use this link. You can use a shortened link too if you want. Now, I like to use links. So I'll just copy that and then I'll close this. You also have this option here that's kind of nice. Automatically collect respondents' SRV USD email address. So if you want to make sure that the students who are using this form, that their email is attached to their responses, you can check this box. It's kind of helpful. So then you close this out. Now I will say this, because it's attached to your SRV USD account, if students are trying to log in and access it with their personal account, they'll have to request permission from you first, which can be a little bit annoying. So if you come here to the settings, you can restrict to users in SRV USD, or you can just let it open to anyone who has the link. And the reason that I uncheck this is because otherwise, like I said, about half of the kids will be able to access it. The other half will have logged in somewhere in some account to their personal Gmail account. So even if they close the window, and even if they've logged into their SRV USD, for some reason their computer still thinks they're logged into their private account, it won't let them access this form, and it will require them to ask permission. So then you'll get bombarded by a bunch of emails asking for permission, and the kid's not understanding why, because they swear they're logged into their SRV USD. Somewhere on their computer, something is logged into their private account. That's what causes the issue. So I always uncheck this because I generally don't need them to be in their SRV USD to fill out the form. It's not even a safety concern. It's not something where kids are sending this form out to internet trolls to fill out for them. It's usually just the student filling it out. It's not an issue. So I click save. And you can also limit to one response. Like I said, you can collect email addresses. You have different options in here. So click save. So in this menu, you've got your settings, you've got your preview. You can send as in an email or with the link. You can also check your responses, which is pretty cool. So you can click here, and what will populate is responses, which you can export to a PDF. So in this one, I don't have that, but in my remote learning check-in, I have a whole bunch of responses that I can export to a PDF to view if I want.